Hello, I am Anton of Tonik Ensemble and you are watching Toasted.
Well, welcome to Reykjavik. I mean, I'm the guest here. How are you doing?
Reykjavik. I'm good. I am slightly tired. Just had a show last evening, but I'm in a good spirit, I would say.
Are you actually now working on a new album with this style? Because it sounds very promising.
Um, well, yes, I would say so. I have. I mean, there are no press releases, and I do work very slow because that's why I'm very, I could never say when the album is out or whether things will, you know, with the creative process things evolve, you know, either way. But this is, I mean, through some experimentation, this is sort of the, shall we say, the premise. And then you sort of go from that premise into various avenues, which maybe aren't quite that, but it's still the starting point.
It sounds very rich. I mean, there must be a lot of inspiration to be drawn from this route.
Yeah, it is. It's very. I mean, my aim is to do something very three-dimensional, and I mean, I listen to everything, and my experience is that every single thing that inspires me somehow translates in one way or another into the uh, at least the thought process, or the something that comes into the music. I'm basically I have been working on getting inspired and inspired enough to be able to deliver something that I myself am really enthusiastic about, and something that actually is the biggest problem. Deliver something that I can listen to, something that that you can, like you were saying, that you can listen to more often, that some songs that aren't a one-liner, shall we say.
A lot of artists were asked to do a mixtape for the Iceland Airwaves festival, and most of the mixtapes I couldn't really get into. I loved yours. Very interesting, very good mixtape, I think. The start with Aphex Twin, None of Two, is I think an excellent choice. Not something that a lot of people would choose.
Yeah, it's a song that, or actually, I just revisited Drugs, the Drugs album, and I am still quite intrigued by that album, as just the whole, because he delivers those very serene piano songs, and then the next song is in your face. It's essentially, those contrasts that I was talking about, and this particular song, it's the closing track of the, I think, disc 2 or something, and it's just a song that I hadn't really given a chance, and I was really impressed by. But with this mixtape, I decided to, I mean, usually when I do those mixtapes, there I sort of collect the stuff that inspires me, and there I would say actually is quite a good example of what I have been listening to, from 70s synth operas of Vangelis into.
Why the Vangelis song?
Because Spiral is amazing.
It is. I mean, he is really influential for a lot of people, right? Especially in electronic music.
And and then into Tim Hacker, the latest album, and there I included a two-part song, which just, when I heard it in April, just blew my mind. It was like this transcending experience for me. So and then into DX7 sounding 80s television stuff, and like I said, my musical taste is very schizophrenic. So
I would rather say eclectic. Thing that I found also, which is a revolution for me, is the Fleetwood Mac "Go Your Own Way" remix by Holly Civilek. It reminded me a lot of Röyksopp, actually.
yeah, that's a guy who actually he has a SoundCloud page. He has not released a single song.
Are you shitting me? Fuck.
And every single person, he did this actually 2 years ago, and SoundCloud hasn't allowed him to have this song up because of copyright issues. But I think he's putting it on YouTube. But it's very interesting because he has been, I mean, before Italo had its revival, he has been digging into Italo music for 15 years or something. And then just every other day he lies on, after work, he lies on the sofa and, opens up Ableton Live and this comes out. And he even doesn't, like I said, he doesn't have a single release out. And, but like I said, that's actually quite good that you mentioned this, because that's one of my intention, especially with the Icelandic artists that I include, is that it is stuff that people have either forgotten or isn't really, or is for me very inspiring stuff. And that remix is just, it's brilliant.
Do you do the artwork yourself? Is it your design for the sleeve and for the vinyl?
No, the artwork. Well, I would say I chose the artist, and I was very keen on the style of Jack Van Zett, Australian artist and graphic designer who has worked with Chet Faker, for example, done some of his stuff. So I was very happy when I found out that he was available, and imagine how thrilled I was when I saw what he delivered.
It is, of course, a risk. I mean, if you call someone to work with you, basically that's what it is. I mean, the artwork is, as far as I'm concerned, an important part of the music as well, because it makes the music stronger and more intense if it's done well. Of course, the artist, if he does comply to work with you, will have freedom to do what he or she thinks, and they can go a completely different way.
Well, they always go do their interpretations, most definitely. But I would say, for example, for this particular project, Tonik Ensemble, there are a lot of people who come and have some input into the album itself, and at live shows it varies though. Sometimes I do it solo, sometimes I do it as a duo, and sometimes I do it as a trio. But my agenda with the live performance is that people come with their interpretation, and we create a moment that hasn't, that could not have happened unless they were there, So there is this, you have to, one of the agendas for me overall, and I think it also applies to the visuals, although I must say I do have strong opinions, of course. You can call me an art director of some sort of this project. Then I try to embrace people's input into delivering something that, shall we say, take things on a higher level, which I could not have, in a way that I could not have done by myself. So that is that is essentially the beauty of collaborations.
Again, this is my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the Icelandic artists don't try to be like other people. They are very original. They want to follow their own path. And that's also what I think is part of their success. They are outstanding, like yourself.
Thank you. I think with the community here, I think in a way you are correct, but I think there's a reason for this, and I think that because the Icelandic market is so small, it it makes no sense for you to follow any, for you. It's not a good business plan to try to be big in Iceland. So there is maybe usually in the Icelandic markets there's usually one album per year which sells tremendously well in Iceland. The rest has a great following abroad, but doesn't really hit the spotlight. And I think that, along with the platform that the Iceland Airwaves are and have been for since '99, I think that puts people, and myself included, into not trying to follow others. Just stick with your own stuff and do it for yourself, essentially. I think that is, but it's also, we have a great community and music education here. We have a lot of the bands today have tremendous amounts of talents from music education, coming from classical backgrounds, digging into electronic music, or coming from jazz, digging into electronic music. And all this, I think the word is synergy. It's just, this collection of people who inspire each other. And then, of course, like I said, we do have Iceland music exports, and they have started to embrace the more, it isn't just the pop that is embraced here, which is a good thing.
Talking about techniques, there's this picture on your Facebook page of some filters, and it looks like a computer program basically, and it probably is. It is probably a song that you wrote on some computer.
That must be Reactor. That
probably is.
That must be. It's just part of the research, I would say. I'm just for me. Yeah. This is basically Reactor from Native Instruments, and when you dig under the hood there, you sort of can. It's essentially shall we say, people are. It's a very, for example, the modular world is very pervertic at this moment. It's what sells in the music industry, but when you dig under the hood of Reactor, you have the exactly same thing there. So, I can make my own sampler or, synth or whatever if I want to. And, for me, as a personality, I'm very curious. So for me to evolve, I just need to constantly challenge myself. And in this particular case, a friend of mine was showing me how to make a synth and how to make my own synth, And that's when you actually have to think about the actual signal path, what is under the hood. That sort of gives you another perspective on things, and I've felt that even just that helps me with finding sounds and stuff.
Good thing is there will be new music, so that's a real good thing.
Well, I would say the next thing on the agenda is actually just tomorrow is a live show here in Harpa, and we did this first version of this particular live show yesterday, and now we do this second round, and I that's actually just if you ask me when people can see me, and of course I imagine this airs much later, then it's for me that's the next thing.
So people should hurry up.
or find a time machine.
Hey, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.